And it's not just your goals in Primerica, it's just in general. Because when you're goal focused, you can become a much better decision maker. When people don't have goals, what they do, every action that they take, it doesn't really have any significance. And if you don't have any goals, it usually means you don't have direction in life. And if you don't have direction, that's why people say you're going nowhere, right? I'm not talking to you, I'm just saying this is what people say in general. So goals, it's either, it's out of sight, out of mind. If you're not seeing them, if you're not writing them, if you're not reading them, then it's out of mind, which means you're not even thinking about it. So as we approach the end of the year, go review your goals. Give yourself a report card. Right? If you got kids, then they come home, you say, let me see the report card. They get in trouble if they get C's and D's. But what is our report card as adults? How many books did we read? How much personal growth have we had? How many things that we wrote down did we even come close to accomplishing? How much did we raise our income? How much money did we save and invest? How many new people did we recruit? Does that make sense? How much better do we get in terms of our people skills? How many bad habits did we actually take out? What's our report card? So it's all fun to look at the kids and be like, oh, what are your grades, right? But we have to continue grading ourselves. We have to be our biggest, what do you call that? Critics. You got to be your biggest critic. I get it. You don't want people to say things about you, but you got to be tougher on yourself than anybody else. That's how you are going to grow. When I was coming up in the business, we used to have, because there were no really electronics back then, we used to have a goal card, and it was an index card. We used to write our goals every single day, and we used to carry it because we all wore dress shirts, and I had a pocket right here, right? And we used to carry it in that pocket, and we used to be looking at our goals every single day, writing them down every single day. And then you wonder, those three guys, me, Shaq, and Brett, that started this business together, there is, in Shaq's organization, 400 licenses, but the other guy, he has another 1,500, which means the three guys that started together, there's 2,000 licenses that came out of that. You guys only see the 400. We were goal focused. We were intense. This is all we thought about. This is what consumed our mind. Now, again, if you're here part-time to make $1,000, that may not be appealing to you, but what I'm trying to say is if you want big things to happen, it requires that type of intensity and focus, right? So as we think about wrapping up the year, right, and you think about making your goals for next year, one of the things should be how often am I looking at these goals throughout the year? So it's a good time to be thinking about that. But I wanted to go over, some fundamental beliefs of Primerica, but not just Primerica, because not everyone thinks the same thing in Primerica, but for our organization, what are some of the things that we believe, right? When you guys go on these trips that you win and you meet people from other organizations and they ask you how you or we are having the type of success that we're having, I want you to know what differentiates us. Primerica is run many different ways throughout the company. That's why it's so funny when people label Primerica. They're like, oh, Primerica's this, Primerica's that. Dude, Primerica is who you met and what experience you had, and even worse, maybe something you read online about someone that has nothing to do with anything, right? You could go to Primerica and you could talk to someone and you would only think that we are in the investment business, right? And they run their business like Morgan Stanley, where they're only looking for wealthy clients and they're only doing big transactions. You wouldn't even know Primerica did life insurance. And you go into other businesses where people are just selling all the products, but no one's telling you to build a team, no one's telling you that there's a recruiting focus, right? So Primerica is very different. I want to talk to you about what our beliefs are. How do we think about the business? So, number one, recruiting and building are the keys to wealth and security. That's one of our beliefs. What do we market here? And we should be saying this all the time. We market ownership. That is what you are selling here. That is your product. That should be incorporated in your message. Especially in the area that we live in, people are not poor. They're not money poor. What they are is time poor. People don't have time. When you look at the schedules of the leaders in this organization, how much money we can make, but in combination with the control of our time, that's what should be attractive to the people that you're recruiting. Not people who need money. So if all you talk about is, hey, you can make $1,000 a month, you can make $2,000, you're just looking for people who need money. You gotta put a different type of bait out there. That's how you're gonna get a different type of person. Sheila did not need more money. She makes a hell of a lot more than what she used to make, right? But that's not why she came in. It was something different. Now for her, it might have been replacing cash value and helping her community and all that, but I promise you, controlling her own time, right? And you get a sense of that when you become a part-timer, because she would work, 36 hours as a nurse, and then she would work 20 hours with us, and she got to see the difference. What is it like making money on my own time versus someone else's time? What is it like paying myself what I feel I am worth than going into a situation where someone is telling me what I'm worth? This is what we got to be talking about, right? If you want wealth and you want security, that comes from recruiting and building. When Shaq and Brett joined Primerica on day one together, that changed each other's financial situation, because Shaq had Brett, Brett had him. When I walked into Primerica a year later, I changed Shaq's financial situation, right? Sheila changed my financial situation. That's what you want. You want to change your financial situation. It's not another client. It's a productive person. There's a saying out there, Shaq, you need another log on the fire. What does that mean? Keep it going. What happens when you add that log to the fire? It gets bigger, it sparks up, right? That thing was going out. You need another log. You need another log on the fire. You need another producer. You need another builder. You need someone with enthusiasm. You need someone that said, hey, I need 10 people that need what we offer. I know 10 people that have cash value. I know 10 people that, don't have any insurance. Everyone at my job hates their job. They would love to come work something. That's what we need. And when you can do that at a high level, that is going to build real wealth and security for you. The income that Sheila makes, it does not matter. If something happens to me, everyone will cry for a couple days, but after that, you guys are going about your own business, because you're not doing the business for me. You're not doing the business for Shaq. That's what creates the security here, is that people are pursuing their own goals and dreams. It's not a job. You want to go RVP regardless of me. You want to become a millionaire regardless of me. The security we get is from recruiting people that are chasing their own goals and dreams. And when you have a lot of people that can do that, Shaq and I were looking at someone's numbers the other day who's a friend of ours in the company. His base shop is doing nothing, meaning his office. But the people he just promoted out are doing incredible numbers, and this is the third month in a row he's making $80,000 a month. If you haven't done the math, $80,000 a month, you're on track to make $1 million a year. It proves it doesn't matter what him and his wife are doing anymore. Those people are pursuing their own goals and dreams. That's security. And of course, 80 grand a month is wealth as well. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's what we believe here. Focus on building and developing yourself and others into regional vice presidents, right? Everything else is a byproduct. Oh, I want to help people. You help a hell of a lot more, man, if you have a bunch of people on your team. There's only so many places we can be in at one time unless we have a lot of other people. You want money. You want passive income. You want recognition. It all comes from recruiting and building, right? And lastly, on this point, you are a recruiter and a builder when someone looks at your calendar and a large portion of your calendar is, focused on doing exactly that. Recruiting and building doesn't happen for 5 minutes a week, right? Or when you feel like it. It is something that happens. Like if you see someone that looks like a bodybuilder, you assume they're in the gym 4, 5, 6 hours a day. They didn't just go to the gym sometimes. Right. So when you see people that are big recruiters and they have a lot of productive, we call it directs, like people that they've hired directly, it's because a large portion of their day, this is what they're doing. So you have to think about that if you want that, right? You must do the whole job for the client because it is the moral and ethical thing to do. This is something that we believe in. We do the whole job. We're not just a life insurance company, and we're also not just an investment company. We want to do the whole job for the client. Now, truthfully, does that mean that I have to sell them, car insurance? No, I actually don't really care about anything else. I want to, other than the main two, I want to help them focus on what if you die and what if you live. Those are the two main issues. If you die, you need insurance. If you live, you need an investment plan. That is the right thing to do. To get securities license, to learn the products, right? To start an investment account with everyone you do term insurance with. And of course, anyone you do investments with, they have term insurance as well, right? And when you look at the team cash for Shaq and I, how we are, relative to our competition and the volume that we do a tenth of the volume, yet our team cash is somehow in the top 25 in the company. How does that happen? Because we do the full job for the client. Not only do we get higher quality clients, a better quality, higher quality business in terms of retaining clients, but we make so much more money because of it, right? Josh, the other month, he made, $15,000, $16,000 because we've taught him to do the full job for the client. So we're never going to move away from that. What does that mean? That means that someone making 100 in another Primerica office and our office will make 250. That's a good thing for you guys, right? Someone making 50 somewhere else should make 120 here. Because we focus on quality, we focus on doing the right things. We must have a duplicatable system that is easily transferable. What does duplicatable mean? It's teachable. Someone can copy it. There's a reason why McDonald's doesn't sell chicken parmesan. It's because it's hard to make. And when something is hard to make, then it takes you it requires you to hire a certain type of person that can make something that's difficult to make. And it ruins the whole system. But if we just focus on burgers, fries, and shakes, now we can hire people that can make burgers, fries, and shakes, and guess what? They don't even have to be able to speak English, and some of them don't even have to be able to read because it has the picture of the item on the computer. They can press fries. They don't even have to read fries. Simplicity is how you duplicate. And this is something that people have to understand, right? Oh, I want to get into this product and that product, and why don't we sell this? Again, you're trying to add complex things to the McDonald's menu. McDonald's is the most successful restaurant. They created the franchise system. If you want to make a lot of money, you have to have a lot of people that you've taught to do what you do. That's not going to happen with complexity. That happens with simplicity. Now, why do people constantly gravitate towards complexity? Because it makes us feel smarter, including me. Right? It makes us feel smarter. It makes us feel like we specialize. Right? The surgeon loves to say, no one can do what I do. Right. That's why you specialize and you only make money when you do a surgery. And it's a lot of money, but that's it. You have active income. It'll never be passive. So this is one of the things we have to understand is that you have to take pride in the simplicity of what we do. We do basic mutual funds, and we do term insurance, which is the easiest insurance, and then we present it in a way that a lot of people can learn how to do it. The questions are there in the presentation. The pictures are there. The data is there, right? The images come up. Now it's digital. We used to draw it, right, or use brochures. Now everything happens through animations. It's because that's what's, if I hire someone, I have to be asking myself, how long is it going to take for this person to be able to go out and get a client on their own? So if you're just like ad-libbing in the field, you're just drawing stuff out, what that does is it kills the belief in the new person. Because they're going to be like, I'm never going to be able to sound like this. I don't have a financial background. I've never done sales. I've never done a presentation. I don't know how to just talk for 45 minutes. I could do that right now, right? And sometimes when no one's watching and I'm on my own in the field, I do that. But when I'm in the, I took John in the field last night. I don't know if he's here right now. I took him in the field. Like, I did the normal presentation because I have a recruit watching, right? So people believe more in systems than themselves. This is very important. People generally don't believe that they're going to get really good at something, but if Tia says, hey, watch me do the same repetitive conversation with the same jokes, the same images, same everything, they're going to say, man, they can complete her sentences. They may not believe in themselves, but they believe in what? The system. So we have to be talking about the system more. The system, just like Shaq always teaches, has to be bigger and better and more important than any one individual. What's our system? We hire people, we use scripts and my video to get them in the field, they set appointments, then we have a scripted presentation with their clients, and then we get clients, and then we repeat, right? We recruit by using a script to get people to the meetings and to one-on-one interviews, and those people join, and that is what our system is, right? You have to sell the system, but you have to learn the system. You have to, one thing in Primerica we say, you have to cheerlead the system. Part of what Shaq goes over whenever he talks, right, especially in the Mondays, is plugging in your numbers, sugar water. That's part of the system. When you hire someone new, you show them, this is where we put in the activity, this is how we track. That's part of the system. Showing up to meetings, obviously, huge part of the system. Inviting people to the op meeting, huge part of the system. You gotta learn the system, you gotta cheerlead the system, and you gotta teach it to the newest person. That is how you are going to get big, right? And then last point, we must have a standard of excellence, or else we will have a standard of mediocrity. What's a standard of excellence? Look, Primerica's goals are different than our goals as a corporation. Like generally we want the same things, but for them it looks good on paper to say, oh, we just went from 5,000 RVPs to 7,000 RVPs. That looks good to the stockholders. That looks good to the analysts. But if I promote 3 RVPs that don't deserve to be RVPs because I have a low standard and they're not doing well, that hurts my business. So although it may look good on paper for Primerica, it's not good for me. It's not good for the people. You have to set a standard of excellence. There's a reason why I'm in front of the room today, because I upheld a standard. As a division, I was doing 30 by 30. As a regional, I did over 50,000 a premium. I had over 100 licenses, right? I was MVP at the Fast Art Schools for years in a row. I have the plaques. I've won the trips. I've been #1, right? And I upheld that standard because what they told me, they said, look, whatever you do, expect people to do half. So if I do this, half is down here. If I do this, half is up here. Does that make sense? So I want to do something big so that my people could be successful even if they did half. Like, yeah, maybe they won't get #1 in the contest, but can they win the contest? So you have to have a standard of excellence where people want to do more than the requirements. Not where everyone's asking for an exception. And here's the thing, the leader doesn't set the standard, the #1 person in the organization does. I was setting the standard. As long as there was me in the office with Shaq, no one would ask for an exception because they saw what I was doing. That's what you want to strive to do. Does that make sense? People want to be challenged, man. People can come up here and say, I got promoted on this number, that number, whatever, to go district division, but how much cooler would they feel if they could say, I doubled the requirements? Right. Some people want that. Not everyone. Don't assume people just want to do the minimums. But we want a standard of excellence in everything, guys. The The quality of business, the income, the type of clients, how many people we have showing up, right? Now we have people doing that. They have over 20 coming on Saturdays, 25. Like, that's a standard of excellence. Jen had a standard of excellence. No matter what, when she was a regional leader in the Fast Start schools and before that, she had the most people. That's a standard of excellence. What are you good at? Maybe it's just one thing. Maybe you're just amazing at getting people licensed. Get 10 people licensed in a month. That's a standard of excellence. And when you can do that, then you can encourage and push your people to follow that example, and then you'll have a bunch of winners on your team. Okay, Shaq, you ready? All right, you're up for Shaq.